So bringing it back to disc golf a little bit, how do you balance being a player versus a creator? Do those like
Yeah,
compete with each other?
they really do. Oh my gosh. Um, so this is a cautionary tale of like when I was sort of first starting like this disc golf content thing, I would go out to like play a disc golf round and then, oh, sweet, I'm gonna play a disc golf round and I can also just like film some content while I'm doing that. And that will just fulfill both things. Perfect. And then I would film something and then it would be like a bad shot and then I would get in my head about that shot and get in my head about the video and be like darn whatever. And then it even when I had like a good shot I was like, ah, yes, good content, like not, I wasn't rewarding myself
Yeah.
mentally for like the good shot. um so this is all to say a lot of the time I spent just recording footage while going out to play a disc golf round,
Hmm.
it ended up being sort of like they sort of canceled each other out in terms of fulfillment, right? So this is all kind of because when I'm going out to play a disc golf round, like especially when it's just like by myself, my goal is just to like get away from things and like get my head on straight, or
Yeah.
have a good time, treat my soul, feed the soul, right? Whatever. And this is not to say that content creation is not that in any way. It's just a different avenue for that. And those avenues run parallel. They do not intersect.
Yeah.
It is difficult, like very rarely um, do I have like a good round and good like content creation, even like one or two videos. Like I've learned that it's so much better to get into the mentality of, all right, am I going out for a content round or am I going out for a like disc golf round? You
Yeah.
know? So that's a great question to ask. And it's very important for me because I went through a stint of was just like, all right, I was just like filming every time I went out. And then I started to not like disc golf anymore. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, what the heck is going on? I didn't like disc golf and I didn't like content creation. So I was like, okay, what's going on that these two things that I enjoy are now being like draining instead of, adding, like feeding to the day? Well, I was trying to do two things at the same time. I was trying to eat food and drink water at the same time, and then just end up waterboarding yourself. So that's
Yeah.
just not good. So keeping those not necessarily fully separate, but separate enough or distinct enough that I'm allowing myself to be in the right mindset for that. So if it's the best way for me to do content creation is I'm going out to the course and I don't play around. I literally just, park at whatever hole I'm trying to film a few things there, scamper back home. That's what I did yesterday. I
Hmm.
scampered out for just like an hour to one hole. Great. Did it. Done. I'm not going to play anything else. We're just going to head back home, you know? Um, yeah. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, no, I think when you talk about what those being parallel to each other, it's true. You have to find a way so because they don't intersect at all. Um, no, I think that's a really good way to look at it, and it probably did take a little while to find that balance. I'm sure that was like a month long, many month long process.
Yeah. I mean, when you have, I don't know. I'm a big fan of if, you know, flavors can exist on the same plate, they can be eaten together in the same bite. But, it took me a second to realize why I was feeling more drained or more less inspired, right, about these things because it's all, like I said, my motivation is such a fickle thing, right? So I'm trying to catch this fairy in a bottle, and then I'm like, okay, well, now it feels like, my bottle has holes on it, or I'm more like trying to catch something like trying to catch a fly with a wet dryer sheet. Like it just is not, it feels sluggish. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel good. So like that's just a telltale sign that like that it took me a second to zone in and pick up on and say, no, my brain isn't wrong. The things that I'm doing right now are not conducive to my own mindset.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's a really healthy way to look at it. I'm glad you've kind of come around to that and realized what works for you. So
well, I'm
that's
still
a
learning, you know, I mean, we're all, I think, still learning what works for us. And I think it's, you know, much more difficult to zone in on. I think it's a balance day to day. So some days when I think I want to, you know, be creating content a lot, really, my brain was just too busy. I need to just like play around a disc golf or just like close the blinds, watch a movie, like,
yeah.
you know, and just be
Just
like,
chill.
you know, because I feel like such an extroverted introvert because I love connecting with people and I love doing outward activities, but good Lord, I need my cocoon time. You know what I mean? Like I need to just like curl up in a ball. And when I don't get a chance to do that, sometimes my brain tricks myself into thinking, I don't need to do that, but I
Hmm.
do, you know,
Yeah.
like it's a whole thing about listening to your brain and trying to adapt your goals to how your brain, or at least in my experience, to how my brain wants to approach things.
I'm gonna be running 6 miles, so come join me for a little Sunday long run. Sorry for the pasty legs again. Look old. And now I'm officially ready. This will be my first time doing 6 miles, and probably since I was a collegiate runner. So currently I'm on the Swamp Rabbit Trail in Greenville, South Carolina.